Scarpins Avenue.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sklar Country, the Virus Edition, aka the Pandy Pods,
aka Two Guys, One Couch,
aka Two Wolverines, One Quarantine,
aka Two Guys, No Disguise.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
Aka Two Dudes, No Ludes,
aka Two Fellows, No Mellow Yellows,
aka One Glasses, Two Asses,
aka Two Blokes, No Jokes.
Yeah.
Actually, there are a lot of jokes.
jokes.
I don't know why I said no jokes.
Guys, we are hoping with this podcast, as we tell you at the top of every podcast, to give you a good 20 to 30 minutes of your day to just chill. How are you? How was your weekend? I know we dropped another one yesterday. We're just coming back from the weekend. Are you okay? How are you doing? How are you with your kids? Are you sick of them? If you don't have kids and you're quarantining with a partner, was it someone you just started dating and now you're together? How's that going?
There's a real litmus test for the
That
relationship.
is really hard. That just went from 0 to light speed. As we're recording this is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I'm wearing my Star Wars Sklar Wars shoes.
Sklar Wars. Oh, that's what we should put up for May the 4th.
Sklar Wars?
Sklar Wars.
What was that?
Wasn't that someone made like a sign for us in Portland for some like game show? I think we have a photo of that.
Yeah, we got to find that.
Well, we're coming at you from a lower angle. We're trying every day. We're not cameramen. We're not engineers.
Nope.
We're just
none
two
of those
dudes who are trying to be funny. Tell you a little bit about the world. I know that I'm vacillating in my life between loving my kids so much,
Yes,
to literally
wanting to destroy them,
to drive my car over both of them.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
My son,
I want to drive my car over both of your
both
kids
of my
as
kids.
well.
Good.
Yep.
My son and I on Saturday night watched My Bodyguard.
Oh,
so good. And
There's
I read
like
negative reviews of it. I'm like, what?
Chris
kidding me?
Makepeace, man. Makepeace went from he had like a little run in
And
there.
then he's not in acting anymore.
Nothing.
He's
Nothing.
a Canadian kid. But what was crazy about that movie, what I loved about that movie is Lindemann was great, but
he's turned into like the biggest asshole ever.
like he's like a crazy right wing.
He's just an asshole who's like, girls shouldn't play video games, and just like he has weird dumbass stances.
He was so good in this movie.
So good.
The character was so good. They only showed such a tiny corner of his life.
Right.
Like what I loved about it is that there were all these stories about this character, about this horrible
The lore
stuff.
of Linderman.
The lore of Linderman, and then there's just there are great scenes like where Chris Makepeace's character goes and talks to the teacher and says, I'm hearing stuff about this kid. And she's like, do you want me to tell you what I know about him? And he's like, yeah. And like, this teacher is so cool.
So honest.
And so honest. She's like, this is what I know. And he's like, okay. And it's just such a fascinating and beautiful piece. Joan Cusack was really good in it.
And the point of, here's this guy, the mom's not around, the grandma's in the life, the father runs this hotel.
But he's on
lives
the
at
edge. So like the father is stuck. He's the manager of the hotel. He doesn't own the hotel.
He's the manager of the hotel.
And at the Ambassador Hotel in Chicago, which is a hotel where Randy and I went and stayed when we performed at Up Comedy Club, and stayed when we did
United States
of America at the public theater.
And stayed when we shot our special for Stars.
And our mom stayed there with us. And my son has stayed at that hotel with us as well.
Amazing.
Such a great memories, beautiful place. I love seeing it. I loved how it harkened back to a simpler time. I highly recommend, if you're looking for a good sort of take me back to 1980 movie recommendation, a small, beautiful little film about what it was like to feel a little bit lost and need to reach out and connect with someone. I think that's why I connected with this film in this time. Everyone, specifically a new kid coming to a rougher, tougher school, felt in a way quarantined from all other people. And then he sees another kid who, because of rumors, because of falsities, because of false images of him, himself is quarantined, and they reach out and connect with each other. It is a great film, My Bodyguard.
I watched Weird Science with my daughter Daisy, and this is now the fact. Both my kids are in love with mid-'80s Anthony Michael Hall, and I couldn't be happier.
Right, because they're not in love with Jake Ryan.
No, they're nerdy, they're
funny.
Yeah, I was
Have
amazed.
they seen 16 Candles yet?
Yes, I was amazed at how they loved him in 16 Candles. I was amazed at how funny and how funny they allowed Robert Downey Jr. and the other guy to be the assholes. They allowed them to be kind of funny.
Right.
And
they weren't one-note guys.
They weren't one-note guys. They were a little, you could see why Robert Downey Jr. was going to be great. He was playing the villain in this movie, and yet, not the villain, but kind of the asshole, but he was...
As the weird friend in Back to School, I think Robert Downey Jr. was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You could see that he was larger than the roles he was being given in the 80s, and then he just, of course...
ballooned.
Well, did Saturday Night Live, and that was a down, and then
he's on.
All right, guys, let's get into this because this is a crazy story, and I will say this to all of you right now. We are sitting on the salmon-colored couch that does not smell like salmon. I'm sorry if this cushion keeps coming up. It's because we're pushing these down. Mm-hmm. Always check your couch, though, to make sure that there aren't two dudes shooting up drugs and hanging out on them. I'm just going to say that. Do that. Because you never know.
I guess.
First of all, that's just common sense. In Florida, that's the rule.
Yeah, in Florida, always it's almost like once you get tested for COVID-19 and you should get tested again. So once you've checked your couch, don't be like, I already checked the couch.
Check it again.
You got to keep
checking on that couch. Turn on the lights. Put your keys down. Turn off the alarm. Check the couch to see there aren't two dudes hanging out, snacking, and shooting up drugs on your couch. Dade County, Florida. Imagine coming home and finding two strangers shooting up drugs on your couch and raiding your fridge. That's exactly what happened in Dade County last Monday.
It's like bad enough when you see
they're like a
rodent. It's like a rodent in your house.
They're like modern day Goldilocks.
Which it is. Yeah, it's Goldilocks, but it's also like a rodent in your house. And I was looking through. I was watching, and we're going to try and post these up on our website, some on the YouTube page. If you haven't joined the YouTube page, do it right now.
Go on YouTube, look up Sklar Country, subscribe right away. There are tons of cheap seats. We're putting more up there. We found our old series Held Up,
a web series we did on Crackle, which has Caitlin Olsen and John Doerr and Tig Notaro and Sam Levine
and Nick Kroll and Steve Agee and Eddie Pepitone and Jessica Chaffin. It is so fun and so good.
I
will post that up there.
Harmar Superstar. I looked back through some old DVDs I had, like some VHS tapes converted to DVD, and now we got to make them digital. But and they were one of our first stand-up bits that was successful for us.
Yeah,
I basically watched our stand-up from the third time we ever did stand-up.
Oh my God.
It was 1987, November 14th, 1987. Wow. We were in suits, approximating
15 years old.
15. And we were not funny.
Mm-mm.
We were not.
Some would say we're not funny now.
Yeah, we were not funny, but we were okay. There were moments we were funny. What I loved is that our original stuff got better.
It's great.
But so then I found an old bit that was recorded, a set of ours that was recorded at this little theater in downtown alternative comedy space called Surf Reality, which was upstairs on Allen Street below Houston, between Stanton and Rivington.
Which at the time, there was a store down there below that had like one box.
I think Marin used to make a joke about how it had like
one box of like Biz detergent
and then like
a spatula
and like cup noodles.
Yeah.
1 cup noodles. And then
you're like, what do you sell here? That was like, it was harder to tell what was being sold there than James Garrettson's warehouse in Tiger King.
Correct. So, but this is how hard it was to get to this performance space. You had to buzz up. It was a giant loft converted to a performance space where the guys who lived there was Robert Pritchard, House of Urban Savages, Surf Reality was what it was called. Robert Pritchard and his wife and their daughter, and they lived in this giant,
and their big Rottweiler baby,
right?
And the wife,
and
Jennifer Pritchard,
right? And they were both in Robert Pritchard and Jennifer Pritchard were in Toxic Avenger, the original one, and so. Whatever. It was fascinating. It was this really artsy, like little theater upstairs, downtown performing a Lower East Side. And someone recorded a set of ours there. I think it was on a Saturday night show. The place was packed.
We'll do the premise, but you have to join our YouTube page to watch the bit.
So the premise of the bit that I was really happy, because my thought was I'm going to watch an old set of ours. I'm going to hate it.
Cringeworthy.
And this is relevant to the story that we're talking about here. We did a bit about seeing a mouse in our apartment, having a mouse, spotting a mouse.
Because we did see a mouse in our apartment.
Right. We tried to catch it. Remember, we were caught it in the closet and it kept running around and we couldn't catch it, like without traps.
Yeah.
That's how dumb we were at 23. We're like, we can get it. 23, 24.
Had a mouse in our apartment. And the whole thing was that the mouse was...
He said having a mouse in your apartment is like having the worst roommate in the world. All right, that's the premise of the bit. And then we proceed to talk about how this mouse is exactly like a terrible, inconsiderate roommate on all the little things that he does that piss us off. And it was a really funny, weird...
Like you go,
bit.
you put the little chip clip on the chips,
Cheetos.
it goes away, and then...
I brought some Cheetos. I ate a couple Cheetos. I wasn't that hungry.
I
put
come
the
back
chip clip
and
on, I put it on, and come back the next day, and there's 3 left.
It's like, it's not the money.
I can afford another bag
$2.
of Cheetos.
Come on.
$2. It's the principle that you would eat all of them.
Not even put the chip clip back on it and then just put the bag back in. It's like, don't be a dick.
Don't let me see the bag and think that there's something there. Just
so like
finish
you get
it
my
off.
hopes off.
And that's just such a dick move. And that's the mouse. That's who he is. And we just started talking about the mouse
as if he was a jerky roommate. So great.
Super funny, fun.
So we're going to post all that stuff on the YouTube page so you can see that. So it's like finding 2 mice on your couch.
Right. Shooting up and eating your food.
For Blaine Ziegler, they weren't Goldilocks. They were like Goldie Dicks.
Yeah.
Blaine Ziegler. Doesn't that sound like a wrestling villain?
Yes.
Blaine
Dolph Ziegler is a guy.
Right. Blaine Ziegler was like the guy who was friends with James Spader in Pretty in Pink, who also was a dick.
Right.
I came in here and one guy was coming towards...
Although Blaine was Anthony Michael
Hall. No, that was...
What's that?
Whatever his name
What's
is.
the guy's name? You know who I'm talking
Andrew McCarthy.
Andrew McCarthy's name in Pretty in Pink.
For Blaine Ziegler, it was a day unlike any other. Quote, I came in here and one guy was coming towards the back of here. What does that mean?
I don't know what you're saying.
How is that written anywhere?
I don't know what you're saying.
You came in where and they came back towards, all right, 2 strange men were inside of his house making themselves right at home. One was just sitting on the couch right there and just curled up in my blanket, just eating food. Stop saying just.
Yeah.
You said just a lot right there.
By the way, when you see 2 people who you don't know, who you have not invited over, and they're dudes and they're on your couch, there's no just about it.
No.
It's full on. It's happening. It's not just 2 guys on your couch. It is full on.
So to recap, Blaine Ziegler comes home and 2 strange men are inside of his house making themselves right at home. One was just sitting on the couch right there, just curled up in my blanket, just eating food.
Yeah.
It was just weird. He said just again.
Jeez.
Ziegler continued. Curled up in a blanket is at once, I feel like it's cute and terrifying.
Well, he doesn't seem like he's in a position to pounce.
Think of the balls on the guy who's like, you know what? I can't just relax. I need to curl up in someone else's blanket.
By the way, I don't know that I could curl up in another person's blanket.
First of all, if you're Blaine Ziegler, you're never using that blanket again. You're burning
it.
You may
and then burying it.
You may never use a blanket again. Having seen that, that might ruin blankets for you.
Yes.
You may never have a tiny hot dog in a little phyllo dough.
Think about how much you need to compartmentalize this experience in order just to live in your house again.
Ziegler was speechless. He said, adrenaline just took over and he raced to his truck and grabbed his gun. Of course, first thing you got to do. Unsure if they might not...
Words I would never say. I will never say.
Unsure if they might not try and hurt his wife or 9-month-old daughter. My guess is they didn't even know or they didn't even care that someone else was in the room. This guy just wants to curl up on a couch in someone's blanket. He kept repeating, what the heck are you doing in my house? I don't think he used the word heck.
No, but I like that he tried to come off like, I'm not going to be...
I was shocked. It was a surprise to me. You don't have to say it was a surprise to me after you say it, you were shocked.
Right.
You were shocked, period. You don't have to say it was then a surprise to you. You were shocked, but in a weird way, I wasn't surprised. I was shocked at how not surprised I was.
I was shocked, and then I was super calm about it.
Nobody takes that scene in stride, by the way. Nobody's like, oh, there are 2 strange dudes sitting on my couch eating. One is curled up in a blanket.
Interesting.
That's an interesting...
Honey, do we have any more sour cream? I'm thinking about making a little French onion dip.
Ziegler chased them out of his home at gunpoint. He later held both men down in a neighbor's driveway. That'll learn them.
Jeez.
I'm sure the neighbor was like, well, hey, Ziegler, you don't need to now rope me into this whole thing.
Why do we need to use my driveway?
Does that mean I can grow my tree as high as I want to right on the old property line?
Because I gave you this one. You got to give me like 1 or 2.
Police arrived just minutes after he called 911. Officers
Thankfully,
later arrested Michael Sollers, 28, and Daniel Hull, 30, for felony burglary.
Yeah.
Burglary. And I'm going to say this, improper snacking.
Trespassing.
And I feel like there should be other charges. Okay?
Trespassing.
Unlawful blanket curling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Intent to shock someone and surprise someone. You can add those as separate charges.
Unjust, just hanging out.
Quote, it was just a light bulb in my head. Someone is
Just
in my
is
house.
the operative word for this man.
Wait, you mean a light bulb went off? Ding, the light bulb went off. What you're saying is not right, Ziegler. He does not know how to give a quote.
It was just a light bulb in my head.
I need
the
to
light bulb's above your
The
head.
light bulb in my head said I need to grab my gun. Went off.
Yeah.
If a light bulb goes off, that
then
means you
lose
don't have the idea.
You lose the idea.
I need to grab my gun and protect my home. Well, my child, she's 9 months old, and it was a new dad feeling. It was instinct. You know that new dad feeling where you want to just go grab a gun?
Yeah, all the
we've
time.
We've experienced that new dad
So
feeling.
we've each had two
You never forget
kids.
that new dad feeling.
That new dad feeling where you're like, well, honey, where's my gun?
Where's my gun?
Where's my gun?
I'm feeling my
thinking about changing.
feeling my paternal nature
I'm
here.
thinking about changing his diaper with a gun. By the way, I saw a 2-day-old baby the other day. Saw my brother-in-law's 2-day-old baby.
It's crazy.
So little and defenseless. My first thought was, where's my gun?
Inside the home, officers found marijuana, pill bottles, and drug paraphernalia. The best would have been if it wasn't these two guys at all.
No.
If that was Ziegler's.
Or his
Ziegler's
9-month-old babies.
Check out Ziegler's quotes. That's all I'm saying. He's probably on a lot of this
Look,
stuff.
it was just
Did the light bulb go off on you? It was already at the residence and he doesn't get busted for it. How great would that be?
Oh, so good.
The break-in happened sometime Monday between noon and 11 p.m. Could you be a little less specific there?
Mm-hmm.
In the Terra Woods subdivision of Dade City. Wow, a break-in
That's
in
a
there?
daytime
That's crazy.
break-in. That is pretty bold.
Ziegler and his family were away when the men broke in. It's unclear how long they were inside, but Ziegler said he was just thankful no one was hurt. So if they were away and then they're inside and then he comes home, where was his wife and the baby?
Were both away at different places, or they went home first?
He was just thankful no one was hurt. I'm thankful no one was hurt either.
Of course.
They had to be there for hours. How much TV did they watch? You don't just curl up with a blanket 20 minutes into a burgling.
No. You get there after an hour, 2
Couple
hours.
hours, and you're like, I gotta. Ugh. That's the action of a man who's been there at least 3 hours. Am I right?
What are we doing here?
Quote, the one kid didn't say anything, but Ziegler recalled. That's all he could say. I mean, the look on their faces was just like, I'm done. Check this guy for drugs. Ziegler.
Yeah, I don't understand anything.
Done with what? Breaking and entering your house? Done with having a gun pulled on them? I don't know what he's done with.
Well, I think he's trying to say, when I threw those guys to the ground, he's
They were
trying to
just
make
dumb.
himself seem like
better.
more of a hero.
Both men were facing felony burglary charges and currently being held in the Pasco County Jail on $20,000 bond, which sounds entirely too much and entirely too little at the same time.
Yeah,
I feel like they could be busted for breaking the shelter-in-place rule, right?
probably.
Corona-related charges should be brought here, too.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Look,
so next time you go home, check your couch to see if there aren't two Goldie
Just do
dicks sitting on it.
a quick sweep. Call that a couch sweep, a junkie sweep.
That's right. Junkie
Honey,
sweep.
I'm just going to do a junkie sweep, and then I'm going to come upstairs. You want anything from the kitchen?
Just the bubbly water.
Bubbly water and some peanut M&Ms?
And then we junkie sweep.
We got two junkies on the couch.
Got two junkies.
I'm going to get the gun.
I'm feeling that new dad feeling. I'm going to grab
Where's
the gun.
and I'm going to take them outside and get rid of them.
All right, there's the first story, you guys. We're going to take a little break. We got a little voicemail from our good friends at the Well Read Podcast. I love this podcast so
People
much.
ask us all the time, what podcasts are you listening to? This is one of them.
Well Read guys, they have such a unique take. Just listening to them and their accents as they spew out the wokest stuff ever.
Woke, sort of progressive.
Thoughtful, interesting. These guys are amazing. Well Read Podcast. We have a little voicemail for them, and then we'll take a break. Thank you to Detroit from Minneapolis, the band that is providing the music for this. I went back and listened to all the Detroit songs this weekend and I had a blast.
So good.
We'll see you on the other side of the break.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Corey Ryan Forster from the Well Read Podcast with Trey Crowder and Drew Morgan that drops every Wednesday here on the Sklar Bro Network, Starburns Enterprises, all that good stuff. This past week we had George freaking Wallace, the legendary comedian. I don't know why we were so lucky, but we were. We talked about how he hasn't left the 25th floor of his apartment building since all this started, and how he's been ordering chicken wings every day. And then, of course, he drops a bunch of truth bombs on us, as George Wallace is wont to do. We talked about how we're all getting fatter. I personally am getting so fat that I just fatted myself out of a sweatshirt Look, guys, outgrowing a t-shirt is one thing, but when you start outgrowing sweatshirts, I genuinely believe that you should have to give up your right to vote until you can fit back in it. Because nobody buys a sweatshirt to fit them. You buy a sweatshirt several sizes too big. We got to be over with this shit. I need to run. Bye.
And he said, you gotta let the cello sing. And he said,
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. As we mentioned before, YouTube page, do that. Subscribe to this podcast if you don't in iTunes or wherever you do it. Rate it, review it. Those are always a great thing. Give it 5 stars, review it. That can always help and let people know
tell
about it.
As our buddies over at the Crab Feast used to say, you can say
Give us a bad review. I hate it.
F this show. Just give it 5
stars.
All right, so want to get to this, and before we get out of here, apparently it is a small world after all.
Is that
Yes.
the way that goes?
It's so small
How small is it? It is so small. It is so small.
that if you decide to camp out at a shuttered Disney World island, you're going to get caught and busted
And made fun of on this podcast. Right
and
here,
probably laughed at by people out there, okay? An Alabama man. You thought I was going to say a Florida man.
Stop right there.
Roll dumb tide.
Roll, dumb, tide, roll.
So this guy snuck into the abandoned Disney World's Discovery Island.
Yep.
And what we all discovered,
Because he's a dummy.
he is a douchebag. All right. So Richard McGuire,
Dickie McGuire.
I'm going to let you try to guess his age later.
Okay.
Because I know it and I didn't.
Dickie McG.
Dickie McG. He told the cops that he was unaware
Wasn't aware.
unaware that he had done anything wrong.
Yeah.
What could possibly
breaking
be
into
wrong?
a place that is not where you should be.
So he broke shelter at home.
Yep.
He passed all these no trespassing signs that were not only outside throughout the park,
but everywhere in the park.
on the island that
Yeah.
he was staying on,
Okay.
in and around. And he had to go through break through gates to get there.
So-
and then squatted in this place for weeks.
Weeks.
Honestly, I'm going to say this right now. Squatting at a deserted Disney World sounds terrifying to me.
Awful.
If you hear a single noise, any sound, I'd be like, this place is haunted.
totally.
We're 100% haunted. I think I see Goofy.
Pirates of
which
the Caribbean.
I always had an issue with Goofy versus Pluto.
Pluto.
So,
Because Goofy could talk and Pluto was just a dog.
Just a dog.
Just a pet.
I wonder what
Like-
that power differential was like.
Pluto probably was mad that Goofy had the ability to talk.
To own him, basically.
Until you hear Goofy laugh. And at that point, Pluto's like,
Nah,
I'm actually,
maybe it's
I
better
may
that I
be
didn't
better.
talk.
Maybe better I don't
Just
talk.
give me some barks and I'm good. Yeah, this guy
Anytime
had,
we'd see someone laughing on cheap seats and they're just laughing and we're like,
all right, so this guy, Richard McGuire, he says he had no idea he did anything
Dickie
illegal.
McG.
Once again, I just want to remind people he passed several
Trespassing
trespassing signs. And I remember when we went to see the quarries in Indiana where they shot Breaking Away, and I don't even know if we found the actual quarry.
We
that
did.
they-
We did.
I don't know if we did.
probably didn't.
We probably did.
I think we did.
I
It
don't
just
know.
wasn't filled up with water. At that
Yeah,
time.
but it was much tall. The other
Nope.
one was much
Nope.
taller. I recently watched a movie.
All right.
A whole lot taller. Anyway, what was crazy to me was that we kept passing no trespassing signs.
And it started to
With each one, we felt like we were breaking another law.
That's right.
So there's no way you didn't
know what was going on.
Look, I love it when dumb people try to play dumb because they're so dumb. You have to be smart to play dumb.
Right.
You can be dumb, but if you're trying to play dumb and sell it, you
have to be smart enough to play dumb.
And this guy was too dumb to play dumb. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He also said that he figured he'd found a tropical paradise.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you know the tropical paradises that have trash cans every 12 feet.
It is a tropical paradise.
Men's and women's
For him,
restrooms,
that is a tropical paradise.
stanchions outside of buildings. You know,
You know the tropical paradises with gift shops.
Yes, just stop. Just stop talking. At that point, I'm like, just stop talking, dummy. I take a break. I say dummy. By the way, he didn't just pick any old part of the park.
That's right.
He picked and old part of the park. He was, this is what was crazy. He was believed to have been living in, after he roughed it in the wild part of the place, he was believed to have been staying in one of the buildings that had been closed to the public since 1999.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a building that no one goes to.
21 years closed.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure that was super sanitary. I don't really know why they rescued this. They should have just identified that he's there, and they're like, he's gonna die.
We'll leave him.
It's not a clean place.
No.
Germs will kill him. Now this guy's out, and he's like a burden on the prison system.
That's right. Keep him here. This is like a life. This is like a Disney prison,
right? Put him in Disney.
Put him in Disney.
Disney prison. I'm sure there's a prison.
Disney.
I'm sure there's a prison at
Disney
World.
prison. There has to be
for
Disney
someone
prison.
who got too drunk and just started messing with people.
That's right.
All right. McGuire, who's a Mobile man, and we've been to Mobile, Alabama. That's a cool place. I
think it seems like downtown Mobile is really cool because the mayor of Mobile did a thing where there was one really cool area where they allowed all the businesses for a year or so to be rent free, so they could get up and running, and artists and whatnot, and it created like a really cool restaurants and stores.
But it's still Alabama.
Sure.
It's still Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Roll Tide, roll.
Are you ready, Rand? Before we get out of here, are you ready to guess this dumbass's age? Think about what you know about him, okay? Richard McGuire from Mobile, Alabama.
Lived on what he considered to be a tropical paradise.
Yeah, he's just saying he didn't realize he did anything wrong. He just thought
stayed in a building that was closed since 1999. So God knows when it was built, but it was
Right.
closed since 1999.
Closed since 99. That's the end
So
of
he
his
has
life.
99 proclivities.
Right.
I'm going to say the guy was 59 years old. I don't know why
59 years
59 is
old.
coming to me.
All right. So
It's only me, so I'll either get it or I won't.
right. So this is one of you is 17 years away. Now, so what if you're at home, you throw your guesses out, you give your best shot on this one. I've just kind of given it away a little bit.
You did give it away.
But you're thinking to yourself, there's a little bit of dumb people town.
He's
mixed
not
into this.
76, I'll tell you that.
He's not 76. Richard McGuire, the idiot from Alabama who thought that he was
They should
hiding
make a Disney movie about this guy.
the
man who thought he was on a tropical island and then just stayed in the Disneyland
like
park.
how much was he talking to himself? How much was he putting on mascot
To
costumes?
me, he was beginning to get answers.
Yes. Richard McGuire was, and
will
will be probably
When he does.
when he dies, 42 years old.
Wow.
42 years old.
Old enough to know better.
Old enough to know better, but not old enough to die trying.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Dickie McG.
He made it. He survived, and so have we. We've survived another day. We thank you guys so much for supporting us on this show. Stay socially distanced, but stay connected. Don't get infected.
Punch water faucet, then wash your hands. Do all the things that everybody tells you to do, and we will get through this with love, with comedy, and looking to the future. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
La-ti-da, la-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da-da.